Hello again. Here we are again in tarot land. I had some time, so I thought I'd make another video. I want to do some sample readings, but I did today. I'm not going to do that. What I wanted to do is let people know I've seen some of your comments. Some people have had questions about different specific things, and I'll start looking at those, and I will make some YouTubes answering some of these questions that you might have. And I don't know how far that's going to go, but we'll do a few of those. But today I just wanted to talk about a few things that I thought I've seen consistency with as far as questions being asked me. And one of them was, what do you do with a bad reading? What do you do when you have bad news with a client? And because a lot of my readings might seem up or too optimistic all the time. And I don't really try to come out as optimistic as much as I try to come out as I'm focused on looking for solutions. I'm looking for answers of things that will work. I don't focus on looking at any types of failure of what won't work. I'm looking for ways that will work on whatever it is you're trying to do. And I think right off the bat, that's a good attitude to have. Giving the client something useful to go with that if you see they're headed in the wrong direction, you can steer them in a right direction. And I'd like to think of it that way instead of this is a failure or this won't work. I look at it as what you're doing now might not work, but if we change it this way or do this way, you have a better chance of success with what you're trying to do. This might be waiting till next month. This might be acting now if you were planning on waiting till later on. It might be reversing some process that you're involved with and switching things around, rearranging furniture, shaking things up. It might be things like that. And if I see any negativity in a reading, I look at it as something to watch for. So what can go wrong? You know, what are the things that can go wrong? You got challenges, you have obstacles that might be in your way of whatever it is you're trying to do. You might have some resistance. How can we smooth out that resistance, or how can we overcome those challenges? And you could also be looking at this in the reading as challenges coming in the future, or opposition coming in the future on something. So there's a lot of different variables there with a reading, depending on the question and the situation of the client right at that particular time. And if I do see trouble, I like to think of it as, okay, now that I see trouble here, what can you do about it? Otherwise, there's no sense even bringing it up. If I don't have an answer of what you can do about this, how you can prepare for this, then why sit with me? That's the whole reason for the reading, as far as I'm concerned. If you're somebody who want to believe in fate, you can look at it and say, well, this will happen or it won't happen based on faith, and there's nothing you can do about it. I don't look at it that way. I look at it as you have options. This situation's been handed to you, or something you're pursuing. How are you going to go about dancing around this issue and achieving what it is you're trying to accomplish? Now, if you know my Celtic cross, you know that it's set up in ways that we could look in those things. And I like to set up things where we have things to work with as far as how you go about handling these type of challenges. The 8 position timing is one of them. Do we act now or we wait till later on? Maybe somebody's acting right now on something. And maybe we look at it and say, well, you're better off if you wait till next month. Or vice versa. Maybe they're thinking about doing something next month. You can look at it and say, well, maybe you need to challenge, they take this on now. Next month, it'll be harder to do. You also have opportunities in position 5. Well, not opportunities, assets, things the client has going for them that maybe they're not using, or they're not using as much as they should be using. Position 6 is over an opportunity coming. Well, if there is a negative situation, this might be an opportunity to face that challenge. Maybe in some way with position 5, this asset you have, putting it to good work to take on this challenge. So the reading, the positions are really set up to take on all sorts of different aspects of anything you're looking into. And I think that that's a good way to have it, where it's really kind of hard to pin down exactly what we're trying to, what a specific direction we're going into with a reading. It opens things up to, you could take this path for this path for that, and a number of different ways of looking at it. Another thing I wanted to mention with the way I look at a card spread, whether it's my cross or any card spread, you lay out in my Celtic cross, you have 10 cards laid out into 10 different positions. And you could look at you could use those same cards for different aspects of the question. So maybe position 8, for one aspect of your question, you're looking at that card for something, but then there might be another aspect of the question, and you might be looking at that same card for something else with that. So it doesn't have something specific as much as it's there for however you want to look at that position in position 8 and say, okay, well, as far as what you're asking me now, I'm seeing position 8, this card pertaining it this way. Maybe it's just the numerical value of the card. Maybe it's the actual rank of the card. Maybe it's just the picture of the card. Doesn't make any difference. You could see that card meaning different things as far as different aspects of your question goes. So if somebody says, well, I thought you meant this card meant this or that, you say, well, you were asking me what we were talking about with that. Yeah, now I'm seeing it with this situation, or with this aspect of your situation. I'm seeing that card telling me this. You could do it that way. I like to do it that way, but I also do it some other things I do. Sometimes what I'll do with a reading is I'll throw layers of cards down. So maybe, and I'll do that with a 10 card spread, the Celtic cross, or the 3 card spread. You throw an initial group of cards down. You're doing a reading, and then somebody has another aspect of the question they want to look into. Well, if you don't want to look at those same cards, like I said before, you could actually throw down new cards on top of the first set of cards you have down there and proceed that way. And you could do 2 or 3 or 4, even 4 layers. And once you do start layering like that, to me, that's like 3-dimensional spreads then, because you could actually look at what other cards are underneath each position. And you could use those with answering the question as well. So now instead of looking at 1 card in position 8, I have 3 or 4, or even just 2. The first card that was there was for initial questions we were looking into about this issue. Now I have 2 cards there though, and I can combine both of them if I want to. There's no real wrong way to do the readings. I'd say that it depends on what the reading is at the time and what seems to be working for you right then. This looks, I'm going to try this, I'm going to try that. So what are we really looking into? If you want to look at a reading and think, well, I'm looking into what is going to happen, I don't think works well. I think if there is such a thing as fate, then try to look at fate as the cards that were dealt to you as a fate. But how you play those cards are still your own free will. And that's really what we're looking into. What are we going to do here? Looking for options, looking for the best way to go about handling this challenge or this goal we're going after. And I think that gives you a lot more insight for your client to look at. And ultimately, I think your client will be happier with the reading. So if you're going to give somebody a bad news, always make sure that you're also showing them a solution on what they can do about that bad news. That's key. That's key. We just had our monthly Zoom meeting for August 10th. I want to mention to everybody, we're doing them twice a month now, every 2 weeks. The second Tuesday of the month and also the fourth Tuesday of the month. So the next one's going to be the 24th of August. And I just threw that in there. Before I forget, I want people to know that if you want to come on by. Some people just want to come on by for 15 minutes and say hello. Others want to stay for the whole thing. It's about 2 hours long. I keep it going for that long. And if you can't make it, I always record them. So there will be a YouTube about it the next few days. And you can just watch it if you wanted to. But I really think, you can learn a lot from books. And they're helpful. But I really do think that you really learn a lot more from interacting with other readers, sharing ideas, confirming what you think, getting bouncing it off other people. And I really think that that's where you're really going to start learning. And I know a lot of people who, when they first started out reading, based on what they knew from books, and then they're out there, and then they're reading with other people, and their readings have changed a lot from when they first started out to after they've been out there with others and working it. It's because you see things differently then. So interaction with others is sharing ideas and listening to other people talk about things really is an education. But I did want to bring that up. I think that's important for the way I read anyway, is an attitude of, like I said, if you're going to tell bad news to somebody, follow up after that with a solution or what you see as a good solution for them and what they should do about this. Telling somebody something negative and that's all you tell them doesn't really help them. Telling them what you think they should do, suggestion, that's key. That's it. I just thought I'd say hello and I'll talk to you soon. Take care.